How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What just happened? I was like, are we live? Are we not? What's going on?
And I was looking down. I was like, huh?
Catching me off guard. Dude, did you get to watch all the fights last night after all, or?
I saw all of them except I didn't watch Menefield Herman, Morales Rodriguez. That's it.
Okay, that's not too shabby. I don't think you missed out on too much.
Mm-hmm.
I could fill you in on what happened in like 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah, dude, crazy. But before we do, just so everybody knows, we can be found on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. So pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found. Social media, Will?
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on Instagram and Twitter. And then we have a group chat on Facebook called Story of the Fight Chat.
Yep. And if you like any of our content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's always fun whenever we have people join us and chat with us as we're live. And even when we do some fight companions, we've done 2 fight companions so far, and those have been an absolute blast. And I'm sure we'll continue doing some of those down the road. Previous episode, we covered Strickland versus Hall and the rise of Strickland and how he would be in a meth lab if he wasn't fighting right now.
Yeah.
But we'll get straight to it. Last night, now, Will, you've been pumping this guy up for the longest time.
It's a long time coming.
And Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
And he is fantastic. We've talked about it in the past. He's a heavyweight. He looks the part.
Mm-hmm.
And he moves like a middleweight. Ultimately, last night, why do you think he won that title? What did he do?
Dude, just his technique. You know, that was the joke, right? Like the whole time was like, okay, Cyril's faster, has better footwork, more articulate striking. Like he's just more
fight
methodical.
IQ.
Fight IQ much better. But Derek Lewis has that one punch power that could erase the whole thing, right? That was like the joke going into it was like all these things Cyril Gane has in his favor, Derek Lewis by knockout, right? That's what everybody was joking about. But what he did was exactly what he was supposed to, you know. His entries in and out, he's so on his toes, and the way he doesn't move straight backwards, and he doesn't use like traditional like boxing style footwork to get out of harm's way. He like hops back, right? Like real like karate style, just like hops
on
out.
his toes all the time.
Yeah. Every time Derek Lewis would like step forward to throw something, he would hop like 3 feet backwards. And you're like, well, that's going to be tiring. No, it wasn't. Like he can just do that all day. He picked his dude. I'd love to see the stats. I didn't pull them up, but like the head, body, leg striking stats, because man, his jab was on point. He went to the body a ton. His leg kicks were like devastating. It's like he was just picking every opening that Derek Lewis was giving him, and Derek Lewis couldn't do anything.
104 to 8 strikes. 104 to 8 strikes.
Yeah, I mean, he just couldn't even get close to him. It was. I was frustrated for Derek Lewis because it's like, at what point do you just are you just like, can we just like call this? Like, I can't even do anything. Like
you could see the frustration in his face sitting in the on the stool in the corner.
You could see it even when he would charge and Gane would just not be there. You could see him just take a step back, kind of drop his shoulders, exhale, and just be like, fuck, man, like, what am I supposed to do here?
Yep. And everybody loves Derek Lewis. He's a funny guy, but I don't think anybody should be surprised.
No, I mean, even he has said multiple times, like, how are you guys going to let me come in here and get to the top and like fight for the belt? Like, you all should be embarrassed to have me even this high in the rankings.
He approaches the exact same way he approached Curtis Blades, right? Where he like crouches down sometimes, just making sure that he avoids the threat of a takedown. He keeps his right hand just kind of cocked back, ready to go.
Yeah, dips the shoulder.
Yep. slow, and just that's just not going to work against an elite striker like Gane.
Yeah, he
Uh,
can kind of do that against Curtis Blades because like Curtis Blades is eventually gonna shoot,
mhm.
right? So if you're anticipating that, he's gonna come to you. Or else Cyril Gane doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to commit like that. He can stay with his range, and when he commits, he's not there for you to come back. You know, if you commit to a takedown, it's not like you can dart back out. You know, but with
Yep.
Cyril Gane, he's in and out, man. He can be pretty much anywhere he wants to be. He's
So
so talented.
your boy was active on Twitter again last night. And Jovan Rodriguez, shout out Jovan, says, "Are we going to pretend Francis isn't going to end him quickly?" Look, taking a look
Anything
at
can
what he
happen.
did last, anything can happen. But are we going to act like everybody wasn't expecting Derek Lewis to do the same thing? Because Derek
Yeah.
Lewis could have very easily ended the night quickly too.
Mhm.
But the thing is that, again, we have Cyril Gane with such a high fight IQ, the
Yeah.
mobility of a middleweight, the power of a heavyweight. This guy's a freak of nature, man.
And he grew up in the sport training with Francis. Like they
Yep.
they grew together, you know.
Yes.
Francis can explode a little bit better than Derek Lewis can, right? He
Yep.
can close the distance better. He's just more athletic, you know. But that being said, if this is anywhere not in the apex, I think Cyril Gane does exactly what he just did. It'll be a little different because I don't see Francis sitting on the fence, right? Being like stuck. I think he's gonna try to bring it forward, but I think Cyril Gane's gonna be like the matador in the whole fight.
And are we going to get patient Francis? Or are we going to
The
get
problem is you can't
rushing?
be patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost have to. I mean, in my opinion, skill wise, the only way Francis wins this fight is if he rushes in and forces an
I love
opportunity.
Rosenstruck when he did against Rosenstruck.
Exactly. That's his only chance because if it's patient in Ganu, Derek Lewis or Cyril Gane isn't getting touched. I don't
He's going
think
to pick him apart.
Yeah, he's going to pick him apart. And the difference here is Cyril Gane's footwork is so much better than Francis's. Even when Francis explodes, he gets away with it because heavyweight division, not a bunch of super athletes in the UFC at least, you know. Rosenstruck, high-level kickboxer, but let's not pretend his footwork is anywhere near Cyril Gane's, you know. That type of blitz, it'll be that type of blitz is equivalent of Ronda blitzing at Holly Holm, where Holly Holm just completely avoids everything. The difference is if you get caught in that blitz, you're dead. But and I'm not saying he's terrible, right? I'm not shitting on Francis Ngannou. It's just skill-wise, Cyril Gane is on another level than the rest of the heavyweight division. He's just completely on another level.
I think
People
we're
are
going to
comparing
start
him to
seeing
Izzy and Wonderboy.
I think we're going to start seeing more heavyweight athletes like Cyril Gane.
Because of Cyril Gane.
Well, because of Cyril Gane, but also the sport is starting to have been evolving for enough time, been around for enough time where some of these freakish athletes are taking a liking to mixed martial arts and starting at an early age and coming up, you know, practicing this type of footwork. And it's something that we're not necessarily used to seeing in the heavyweight division. But even with John Jones going up now, I mean, we've yet to see John Jones fight at the heavyweight division, but I can see him being very similar to Cyril Gane in his style.
Very similar. Yeah, very similar.
Oh, think about that
that's
fight.
The fight. That's the fight I want to see the most.
Oh my God, that's going to be fantastic. But we'll cover this later on some of the word on the streets for what's going on. So we'll cover that.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel bad for Derek Lewis, right? This was supposed to be his undisputed title shot, and I think his chances against Francis are so much better than his chances against Gane. I feel bad because I'm a Derek Lewis fan. How can you not be? You know. And this was supposed to be. Everybody's talking about how dirty the UFC did Francis Ngannou by making this an interim fight. Let's not pretend like they didn't do Derek Lewis dirty. Also,
true.
This fight was supposed to be. It was supposed to be last night. Derek Lewis versus Ngannou. Ngannou said, "I can't do August." UFC said, "Let's do September." Right? September, and then they were like, "You know what? We need somebody in Houston, so we need Derek Lewis to fight in Houston. We're gonna make the interim title fight. But that doesn't just fuck over Francis. That fucks over Derek Lewis. This is a way worse matchup for Derek Lewis than Francis is. You know,
for sure.
It sucks. I mean, there's a timeline where Francis loses to Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis becomes champ. I mean, it just sucks. In reality, if that were to happen, right? If Derek Lewis beat Francis for the belt, Cyril Gane would come and take the belt right away, right?
Yep.
Derek Lewis would not have defended the belt, but he would have gone down as a heavyweight champion in the UFC. You'll never be able to take that away. And now he'll probably never get that opportunity again.
Yeah, when we take a look at the heavyweight division, with Stipe up there, John Jones up there, Cyril Gane now in the mix, and we wonder what that's going to do to Derek Lewis' chances of ever getting another title shot. I mean, that was the second one, right?
Tough. Yeah. I think DC, right? And then now this. It sucks because, I mean, if, say, Francis and Cyril Gane fight, Francis knocks out Cyril Gane, I mean, that's the only way he's going to beat him, right? If he knocks him out. Derek Lewis wins one more fight. Maybe that actually happens, right?
Maybe.
Because it was supposed to happen and it didn't happen, and maybe that'll be a path for him. But that's a lot of ifs, A lot of things have to happen in order for that to work.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
And like you said, there's a lot of people that are Derek Lewis fans. And, hey, he's all about getting paid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got a decent check yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure he got a decent check.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We all know that we don't want to wreck the UFC's budget.
Hey, can we talk about did you watch the post-fight press conference?
Yes.
So Dana's like, oh, if we do 75K, you know how much that'll do to our budget? Like how much that'll fuck us up, right?
Yeah.
Last night in the post-fight press
I know what you're
conference,
going to say.
John Fisher's like, hey, how about Cyril Gane? You don't think that performance was worth a bonus? Because he didn't get a bonus. Yep. And Dana's like, yeah, you're right. Why don't we talk about that? Yeah, definitely. Give him a bonus. That's on you. You got him that bonus. And it's like, oh, so we're just tossing around 50 G's, Like,
yeah.
So, but 75K is way too much to give 3 times a night. But let's just toss another 50 G's like it's nothing. That doesn't destroy the budget. Just throwing out another 50 grand.
Hilarious, dude. Hilarious. Well,
clearly it doesn't put a dent in anything they ever even see.
Yeah. In the words of Chris D'Elia, it doesn't make a dent, So,
yeah.
Oh, well. Anything else on that main event, man?
No, I mean, I'm just happy to see. Did you see Cyril Gane at the end of the fight?
Picture's a little squished. Yeah, but, dude, look at him. He just looks the part, dude. He's an absolute monster.
Yeah, and he's such a nice guy, man. He's so, calm and,
no ego.
Did you see
I'm
him
sure he's got to have some ego
camp?
if he's a champion, but still, compared to some of these other fighters, man, he checks his ego, dude. He leaves it at the door.
Did you see him give the belt to his coaches?
Badass.
And they're crying and shit, wiping the tears away. Bro, what a cool moment, man.
I know.
And
I know.
Yeah, it is just cool. And
he's just always
clearly
smiling, happy.
Fans. Yeah. I've been saying Cyril Gane's the future champ since what?
A year ago, maybe?
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
When he had 3 fights in the UFC.
No, dude, and he
couldn't get a fight. He had 4 cancellations in a row.
He's a real deal, man. He's a real deal. And like I said, always happy, he's laughing, and just messing around with the reporters, the journalists at the press conference. He just seems like a genuinely happy dude. And when they're like, "Is this personal?" He's like, "Dude, it's a sport.
Yeah,
it's just a sport."
Mm-hmm.
So I think he has the right approach and he has the right skill set. Of course.
Yeah, that type of mentality matched with that skill set is so good because he's not going to get drawn into a brawl and deviate from the game plan and the technique. It's just, I'm here to win. This is how I win.
Yep.
And I get it. Some people are going to say oh, he's going to have some performance in his career, and he already has, that some people aren't fans of. The reality is, though, that's how you go down as one of the greatest. Those types of performances, they stack your record. People look at Floyd and they say, yeah, it's boring watching Floyd fight. Dude doesn't get hit, This
is somebody that can hold the title for a while.
Yeah, the problem is at heavyweight is skill-wise, people can bridge the gap with the power, right? Because all it takes is one. But skill-wise, he has the potential to go down as a very long-time champion in the hardest division to go down as a long-time champion. You know,
Yep.
what's the record? 4 title defenses, or is it 3?
I want to say it's 4 from Stipe, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think Kane had 3 also. But I mean,
Yeah.
Heavyweight division is awesome. There's some
Heavy-
weird things going on with Stipe and John Jones and Francis, and
I feel like it's in its best position that it's been in a while.
yeah. Do you think if you have the interim belt and you beat the champ, do you think that should count as a title defense?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's tricky, right?
It is tricky. I mean, at that point, you're unifying the belt, you know, and I guess it's not necessarily a title defense of the interim belt because at that point, you're getting the heavyweight belt.
Correct.
Like the full heavyweight belt. So
True.
I don't think it should count as a.
If Cyril Gane can go on a run of beating Derek Lewis with the interim belt, taking the belt from Francis, defending it against Stipe and John Jones, like what the fuck, dude?
He'd probably go down as a great at that point.
I mean, he would go down as a great for sure. I think he would only be like 1 win away from being the greatest heavyweight, you know?
Then DC runs into the octagon afterwards and takes his suit off and fights him right after.
Takes his suit off.
That'd be amazing. All right. Dude, the co-main event.
Man, how fun was that?
God, it was a freaking blast, dude. Just when we talk about high level,
Yeah.
Pedro Munoz, Jose Aldo, it doesn't get much better than this, man.
Hey, how about a tough run for Pedro Munoz lately?
Yeah.
He's fighting killers, man. And like Aldo
Yeah.
is too, obviously, but like that comes with the territory. Pedro Munoz just can't quite get past that.
Jose Aldo, Jimmy Rivera, Frankie Edgar, Aljamain Sterling, Cody Garbrandt. And then it drops down like Brian Caraway.
Yeah, but I mean,
Brian Caraway
that
is
was also
lost to
3 years ago.
Munoz, Misha Tate. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, he's been going up against some absolute killers as of late.
Yeah,
As he should, though, because he's a talented individual.
And a lot of people thought he beat Frankie Edgar. I don't. I think Frankie Edgar won that fight, but
that was a very close fight.
It's a different timeline if he won that fight. You know.
Yep.
I feel
Jose Aldo.
He's like a good dude.
This guy's 34 years old.
Yeah.
And I think we forget sometimes that he's still only 34 years old because he's been doing this for so long. And that was one of the common things I saw on Twitter where people were like, dude, I didn't realize he's only 34.
Yeah. Every time he fights, there's a lot of that, right? He's only this?
Yeah.
How old he is, right?
I mean, let's be real, though. He does look like he's in his 40s.
That's what happens when you get punched in the head for a living.
But
you're the champ forever.
He looked faster than I've seen in a long time. His jab was on point.
His defense is – I didn't watch it with commentary, but, dude, I was just watching all the leg kicks that Pedro Munoz was throwing, and he's just checking every single one. When have you seen someone so diligent in checking leg kicks? He might be the top. He might be the top. It was insane. Pedro Munoz's leg must be fucked right now. It probably hurts so bad. And his shoulder rolls when he shells up, like, granted, Pedro Munoz was winging it a little bit, and he would land every once in a while. But so you see the shots coming a little bit better. But, dude, the way he blocks to the body, he's so defensively sound. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep. Dude, you start dude, the body punches.
Yeah, and dude, who was it when he knocked him out with body shots? I know he beat Jeremy Stevens with it. Yeah. Yeah, so after he knocked out Stevens with a body shot in the first round, and then when he fought Moicano right after that, Moicano was like hurt up against the cage and he's covering up, and Aldo just starts ripping the body over and over and over again, and then up top. Fuck, man.
The way he loads that hook up to the body, though, because he starts so low and back and just jumps into it. And the elbow's
tucked. Yeah, it's just so tight.
Digs. Yeah. Dude, they're so nasty. And every time he hit Munoz with it, you see Munoz's elbows start dropping a little bit more on his guard. Mm-hmm. Dude, but it's just so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he looked better than he has in a while, in like years. You know, this was such a good performance. Pedro Munoz is so talented.
This is where you see like a true martial artist where, again, he's 34, 37 fights, and he's still talking about evolving as a fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And not just talking about it, but showing it.
God, it's so nuts.
you know.
Uh,
And what was crazy is everybody has always talked about all those leg kicks. He hasn't been a heavy leg kicker in a long time. Everyone still talks about it. Everybody talks about the Uriah Faber fight. How long ago was the Uriah Faber fight?
30 years ago.
It might as well have been 30 years ago. It was 2010. It was 11 years ago. It's been a
When he
while
hit him with
since,
like 30 something leg strikes.
yeah, and Uriah Faber's whole leg was black the next day.
I remember they were really worried about like his leg and like making sure that he wouldn't lose his leg, and dude, it was bad.
It was super bad, and everyone was like, "Oh, Jose Aldo, he came from soccer. That was his base, and like maybe that's like a big thing with the leg kicks, all this stuff." So the leg kicks have always been attached to Jose Aldo, but he doesn't throw them that often. He really doesn't, and everyone always says during the fight, "Watch out for the leg kicks." After the fight, man, I wish he threw more leg kicks. That's been the narrative for a long time, dude. This one, he didn't throw a ton of leg kicks, but when he did,
they were effective.
They're so effective, and I think that's part of why he doesn't throw them all the time, right? Because he doesn't want you to react to it and get the reads, because when he does throw them in there, it's like debilitating.
Yep.
Like he dropped him with a leg kick, and you usually only see that when it's like the 25th leg kick or like really deep into it where they've been hammering at the leg over and over and over again. I don't know how many he threw, but it seemed like he only landed like 6 or 7 throughout the whole fight. But they're so
we saw that happen a couple of times yesterday.
Yeah. Dude.
We saw people get dropped by leg kick.
It's happening more and more. Leg kicks are kind of taking over right now.
And Munoz with the thing I will give him is he had consistent pressure the entire fight.
Does not stop coming.
Never let off. Never let off.
The dude's savage.
He is. Now, what's next for Aldo?
Omar texted me and was like, TJ Dillashaw? And I was like, yes, if that we didn't have to wait for him to get a title shot. That's the fight.
That's a fun fight.
Because that's a fight that like we should have seen that fight by now. You know, just with like
and you have Rob Font, Corey Sandhagen that just lost, TJ Dillashaw. And we know Petr Yan is going to be fighting the paper champ, Aljamain Sterling, here pretty soon.
The paper champ. Aldo versus Rob Font might be the fight to make. That sounds awesome.
That sounds like a fight, man.
The problem with it's starting to become a logjam a little bit, and the real problem is, if Aldo beats Rob Font, I think that's a title fight, right? Petr Yan is going to fight Aljo. The winner of that fights TJ. I think the winner of that should fight the winner of Aldo versus Font. If they do that fight, I think that's definitely the fight to make. The problem is if Petr Yan beats Aljamain and then Petr Yan beats TJ Dillashaw, do we really see Aldo versus Petr Yan again? Because I don't want to watch that.
No. I was just thinking about that right now. Because I'm looking at his record here.
Really
so he loses to Volkanovski, then loses to Marlon Moraes, and after his loss to Marlon Moraes, they're like, title shot.
Yeah.
And so they throw him in there against Petr Yan. And it wasn't close, man.
It was close in the first 2 rounds. And then Petr Yan demolished him.
Well, when I think it's close, I think of it being a 5-round fight, split decision. Yeah. You know, when it gets finished that way, where people watching the fight are like, "Please stop the fight."
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember that? He was getting.
We made like a separate video about it.
Yeah, we did.
It's like one of our first videos.
But man, I at least I do this where we see a loss to Petr Yan. To Alexander Volkanovski, and I start thinking to myself, man, maybe he's starting to lose it a little bit. Then he looks pretty good against Marlon Vera. And then
Marlon Moraes. Or no, Chito Vera. Yeah.
Chito Vera.
Yeah.
And he looks, and that's the thing, you forgot he fought. It wasn't like a huge deal. Yeah. He did very well against Chito Vera, but
I think he fought to the level that he needed to.
And then he fights Pedro Munoz, and you see again just how good Jose Aldo still is. Yeah. It's crazy, man. I
think he's one of those guys that probably fights to the level that he needs to. I think if he got tested by Chito Vera a little bit more, we would have seen a better Aldo in that fight. I think maybe Let's be
Maybe
real. Cheeto Vera wasn't really in that fight until he started landing some big shots in the third round. But even then, Aldo convincingly won that fight.
he did.
You know, and in my opinion, watching that fight, for me, I wasn't thinking, wow, Aldo looks like he's maybe lost a step a little bit. He's still good enough to beat someone like Cheeto Vera. For me, it was Cheeto Vera is not at this level yet. He's not at the level to figure out the holes that Aldo has. His defense is just too good. But those are winnable fights for Aldo, I think. I think maybe also the issue is 5-round fights, you know?
Yeah. So they make adjustments for Nate Diaz. Maybe they say give Aldo a championship fight with 3 rounds.
3 rounds.
Like let's just make adjustments for those that we're giving fights to.
Aldo would still be the champ if he had 3-round title fights.
All right. Anything else on that fight before we move on to Lucay versus Kiesa?
No, just happy for Aldo. It was fun to watch him win.
The people's champ, dude. The people's champ. So Vicente Lucay versus Michael Kiesa. Hey, by the way, I posted my picks 7 for 13 last night. Yeah, it's over 50%.
Yeah,
but nothing for me to be proud of.
But not by much.
But because math. But man, this had
what a great
this
fight.
had fun written all over it, dude. As soon as they announced this fight.
Yeah, when they announced that, I was like, fuck, I don't want either of these guys to lose because I'm such big fans of both of them.
Yeah.
But dude, every time Kiesa fights, it's fucking crazy. And every time Lucay fights, it's fucking there's a difference. When Kiesa fights, it's fucking crazy position changes all the time. When Lucay fights, it's crazy damage going both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, this has such a cool matchup stylistically. I have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen here.
Hey, these guys fight 10 times. How many times does Lucay win?
Maybe 5.
It's crazy, right? I thought the exact same thing. I was like, man, this is just now this was a close fight.
Very close.
This was a close fight. Dude, I love how Kiesa came out. A lot of side-to-side movement,
Straight punches.
Yeah, the 1-2 that caught him and cut him right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then just picked a perfect time for the takedown. Richie Casual putting the picture up at a perfect time here.
Yeah, and the fight IQ from Kiesa up until that point was so high because he's getting off early with straight punches, right? Let me tag him. You could see Lucay starting to kind of make the reads and start landing on the feet. Because Lucay's a superior striker in my opinion. So I thought, wow, Kiesa's landing here. This is not going to be the whole round though. This is he's picking his moments and he's maybe catching Lucay off guard a little bit. Mm-hmm. Lucay started landing his shots, and immediately, as soon as he started landing his shots and kind of committing to his shots, Kiesa drops under and perfect takedown. And it was like, man, he just stole the whole first half of this round by outstriking him. And as soon as maybe the tide was going to start turning on the feet, let me just take him down, give him something to think about, and let me watch me impose my game plan on the ground. Because he's so, dude, Kiesa finds the advantage on the ground so quick. He's dangerous.
I mean, you see the picture right here where Kiesa has Lucay's back. And at this point, I was like, oh, this might be over. Because even if it's not fully under the chin, that neck crank looks so nasty. Because he had the hook in on the left side of Lucay. And the way that he was cranking his neck, I was like, dude, this is pretty bad.
Dude, yeah, for people who haven't been in that position, if your left hip is pinned and your upper body and neck are going to the right side, it's awful.
It's a terrible pain. Terrible pain. Not just for that moment, but probably for the next few weeks. Yeah. And then just a huge mistake, though. Huge mistake by Kiesa to just get up the way that he did.
I think he just didn't. I think he had a lot of faith in his ground game and just took it for granted. I
mean, if you look at the picture here, he's on all fours right now. In the process of standing up, he's on his knees. He's got his arms down on the canvas. They're about to stand up, and Lucay's like, "Oh, okay,
you're just gonna give me your neck."
And he sunk in that Darce so quickly.
Yeah,
and it was game over as soon as he sunk it in. It was locked.
He locked it in. Kiesa did a great job defending it for as long as he did because it was locked in right away. But Lucay did a great job making the adjustments.
Countering the counter.
Yeah, exactly. It was so good, man. It was such a whirlwind, and that's always what Kiesa has. When Kiesa fought, was it Jim Miller that he fought? That was just like, yeah, it was Jim Miller. Crazy. The Jim Miller one and the Joe Lozon Kiesa fights. If you want to watch crazy back and forth grappling and position changes and changes of momentum, both those fights were just crazy, and he's always had that. And that's, I think, comes with the territory of being so aggressive on the ground and going for submissions and positions, is you end up getting countered a little bit if things don't work out. But that's the type of confidence he has in his game, that even if he goes for something and it doesn't work out and you end up on top, he will find a way to sweep you or pull out another submission or something like that to change the tide back into his way. Unfortunately, I do think he underestimated Lucay's ground game in this one.
And you know what? It might happen more often than we think, because
With Lucay?
No, with Kiesa, underestimating his opponent and their ground game. So let's take a look at Kiesa's record, right? So he lost to Jorge Masvidal. And this is when he was going in 8-0 undefeated. He lost.
Oh, this is early?
Yep. He lost by Darce choke.
Ooh, interesting.
Then he lost to Joe Lozon due to a cut.
It
was a doctor stoppage. And then he loses to Kevin Lee, rear naked choke.
Which was very controversial.
He loses to Anthony Pettis, triangle armbar, and now loses Darce choke again. When I think Michael Kiesa, I think of high-level jiu-jitsu. High-level jiu-jitsu. I think that when Michael Kiesa thinks of Michael Kiesa, he thinks of high-level jiu-jitsu. Maybe he thinks it's higher level than everybody else he faces. But because of this, he might leave himself open to some of these positions where he thinks I'll be able to get out of it because I get out of it in the gym all the time.
Yeah, well, when you look at his wins, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 submission wins in the UFC.
And 4 submission losses. Interesting, right?
Yeah. It's interesting because, I mean, his ground game is elite, man.
Elite.
The problem is he's so aggressive on the ground, which is what, as a viewer, you want.
I know, that's what I love.
But unfortunately, that's where you end up making mistakes or leaving openings that someone can take advantage of.
Like yesterday, as soon as he took Lucay took his back super excited.
Got the choke started, and I was like, holy shit, that was quick.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, holy shit, that was quick. Lucay just set up this Darce. It's crazy.
Yeah. What a fun fight, man.
I love those crazy grappling fights.
So do I. All right. Before that, though, we had a Tisha Torrez versus Angela Hill. Now, we've been wanting to watch Angela Hill fight for a while already.
Yeah.
We talk about her on the podcast all the time. One of my favorite female fighters.
Oh.
One of my favorite female fighters. And, dude, Tisha Torrez just seemed like she had an answer for anything that Angela Hill wanted to do.
I mean, Tisha Torrez is just so technically sound, that I think you have to be like truly great to beat her, at least beat her decisively. Like, she's a puzzle, man. I think people underestimate her because of her short reach. But you can't get close to her because she's constantly blasting those kicks to the body, the side kicks, the roundhouse body kicks, like everything, front kicks.
Who she reminds me of?
Dustin Hoffman?
No, not at all. What?
No,
I won't be able to unsee it. No.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Uriah Faber in the sense that a lot of elite athletes, a lot of elite fighters that you throw her way, she'll be able to beat. But do I ever think she'll be able to be the champion?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not.
How about this stat? Another decision between Torrez and Hill. They have 39 combined fights. 32 of them have gone to decision.
What are you going to put your money on next time?
I know, yeah. Well, depending on who they're fighting.
But I think it's a case of Tisha Torrez just having Angela Hill's number, because Angela Hill has improved a lot since her first fight.
She looked like she might have regressed a little bit in this one, if I'm being honest.
I think she couldn't figure out Tisha Torrez.
but she just
I give
didn't
more
look
credit at
fluid.
Tisha than I do say that Hill had an issue, honestly,
Then you
because
take away from her. Yeah.
she looked so light on her feet, man. And whenever they were getting the better of the exchanges, Tisha Torres was exchanging, but in her range,
Yeah.
So when
True.
it was the distance that Angela Hill loves, Tisha did such a good job of closing that distance, getting the short hooks in, and Tisha Torres got the better of Hill in all the exchanges, the majority of the exchanges.
Yeah.
To the point where Hill was lost, and she's the one that ended up clinching, putting her up against the cage, trying to take her down.
She's the one that's the tie boxer, right? I was expecting her to, when it did get close. In my opinion, you think if we're going into a game plan for Tisha Torres, you try to keep it at range, pick her apart from the outside. But if it gets in close, clinch knees, clinch elbows, and try to get in tight on her.
Which she tried.
She tried, but you would expect the tie fighter to be able to do that, and she couldn't. And like you said, maybe that's more credit to Tisha than it is a takeaway from Angela Hill. But both, I mean, this is a tough one because, like, where do we go from here, right? Tisha Torres has fought Rose Namajunas how many times now?
A million?
Yeah, a million. It's been a few times, right? And I just don't see her beating that elite. I don't think Tisha's going to beat someone like Zhang Wei Li.
All right, so check it out. We have Tisha Torres right now. What's her record? Let's take a look here.
13-5.
13-5. All right, so she went through this 4-fight losing streak where she lost to Jessica Andrade, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Zhang Wei Li, and Marina Rodriguez. I
still don't think she beats any of them.
I don't think she beats Zhang Wei Li. I don't think she beats Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Jessica Andrade, I think, depending on the night.
Yeah, and she's up a division, right?
Yep. And,
I don't think Tisha beats Andrade ever.
Man. Yeah, so like you said,
what last loss before Andrade was Rose.
What do you do with her next? Gatekeeper?
I mean, yeah. Where is she at in the rankings? She
and
was
even
10
then,
going into this, right?
Even then, gatekeeper to the top 7, maybe. Like it wouldn't be a gatekeeper. Like, hey, you beat Tisha Torres. Yeah. You're next for the title shot.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she fights someone like Nina Nunes now. But if you look at above Nina Nunes, and that's hilarious because you said 7, right?
Yeah.
Nina Nunes is ranked 7.
There you go.
I think that's a winnable fight for Tisha. I think she beats Gedalia. I think she beats Michelle Watterson. Nina Nunes, if she beats her, everybody above her, though, I don't see her winning.
Yep. I agree.
Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez, Yan Xiaonan, Esparza, Jędrzejczyk, Zhang Wei Li, Rose. I don't know. Maybe she can beat Yan Xiaonan. That's a stylistic match where she could win.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
Yeah, it'd be tough. I mean, I don't think it's a given, but I could see a path there, I guess. But
Angela Hill, it's a learning moment for her, I guess. A lot of takeaways from this fight. Mm-hmm. Tisha, I feel like, just was imposing her will wherever she wanted. And she said this in the press conference, too. She's like, whether it's on the feet, when she wants to take it to the ground, like, I know I can beat her anywhere.
Yeah.
And she showed it yesterday.
Mm-hmm. She looked as good as she's ever looked.
Agreed. Before that, Song Yadong.
Your boy.
My boy, Song Yadong versus Casey Kenny. Now, Song Yadong, Team Alpha Male. I don't know if he has a translator with him all the time or something. I'm guessing that's what they do. Google Translate. I don't know. But, Will, mentioning Team Alpha Male, of course, our fearless leader, Uriah Faber. We talked about Uriah Faber when we talked about the Jose Aldo fight, Tisha Torres fight. Look, I just wanted to let you know. I'm repping Uriah Faber gear today.
Of course.
He's one of my favorite fighters of all time, bro. One of my favorite fighters of all time. But Song Yadong looked really good.
Yeah, he did. And Casey Kenny's good too, man. This is not like an easy win, you know?
Nope. It was another technical fight, though.
It was just discipline from Song Yadong, Like, Casey Kenny was coming in and coming after him the entire fight, Just wouldn't let him breathe. Song Yadong just kept blasting with those body kicks. I would have liked to see more like straight punches from him. You know, there's a lot of hooks. But I mean, if it's working, it's working. Why change it? You know? Yeah, Kiesa Kenny, man. Strange mentality in this fight from him. I think he
How
thought
so?
he was winning.
Okay.
Which
mean, you see the picture here.
I'll never fault somebody for that, because when you're in there, and it's not like he was getting like fucked up. He was coming forward the whole time. He was landing shots. It's hard, and you're getting hit, and you're like, this doesn't hurt me. I'm not getting hurt by these, but I'm landing my shots. I understand that from that perspective, it's easy to think that you're winning, and I'll never fault somebody for that. A lot of people are talking shit about him, like jumping on the cage after, saying like he won, and like being real pissed off at the decision. Listen, we all got to watch it. Yeah, and we all got to watch it on TV with multiple angles. Of course, we get to see everything, but when you're in there and he did a good job rolling with a lot of the shots too. So I think he was like, his strikes aren't affecting me, but I know I'm tagging him and I'm coming forward. It's easy to think that you're winning, you know.
But also, your corner should probably tell you, dude, this is a really close fight.
Yeah, close fight, very close fight. Maybe you have to make some adjustments.
Yeah, and tell him, I'd assume I lost that last round. Just assume you lost that last round.
Always assume you lost a close round.
You know what? And even when you shouldn't have lost it, sometimes you're still going to lose the round. Even when it's obvious that you didn't lose the round.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will. But, dude, both of them had great walkout music, too.
I didn't catch it.
No, Song Yadong came out with like this, I don't know, it was like almost like a military style Chinese song or like tune in the background. It was legit.
It was the Yadong song or what?
I like that. I like that. That was such a terrible dad joke. But I like it. All right. This is probably the fight you were talking about, though, when we talk about the scoring. Fiziev versus Green. Fight of the night. Absolutely should have been fight of the night.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it was fight of the night. But it's Fiziev versus Bobby Green.
Can I tell you how I scored this?
Please do.
I had it a 28-28 draw.
Did you?
I did.
You gave Green a 10-8 round in the third.
Correct.
This is what was crazy to me. It was like you thought it was a 10-8 round. I thought hands down he won that round 10-9. And one judge gave him 30-27 for Fiziev.
Yeah,
what the fuck was that guy watching?
So bad.
Awful.
So bad.
Just awful. But dude, okay, so Fiziev, first of all, he just looks like a fighter.
Yeah, he looks terrifying. He looks like someone from like that show Vikings. I never watched it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ragnar Lothbrok. That's exactly who he reminds me of in that show, because that's who he makes me think of. But dude, when he came out that first round, one, you could tell that they were both having a blast in there.
Yeah. Ton of mutual respect.
So much fun. Shit talking. Fiziev is so quick. Quick. And I love the fact that everything came in bunches. Yeah. Everything came in bunches. When he'd come in, 1, 2, 3 shots against Green.
Yeah, and you have to, because Bobby Green's going to roll with your one shot.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing I was going to talk about. Yeah, Bobby Green walking up with his arms down. First of all, surprises you sometimes because he'll pop you with a quick jab straight from the hip.
Man, his jab is great.
But then also, like Fiziev's coming in 1, 2, 3 shots, and you see it right here. Like, if you were to see this, you're like, oh, dude, he just probably knocked Green out. Nah. He probably just rolled with that punch, uses his shoulders. He's just, I love watching him fight.
Dude, it's so good. But let's be real here. Round 2, how did you score it? In my opinion, and I have a lot of bias, right? I've always been a huge Bobby Green fan since forever. But I am a huge Fiziev fan too. I think Fiziev's the future of this division.
I scored it 29-28.
For Fiziev?
For Fiziev. First and second.
What if I told you Bobby Green outstruck Fiziev the second round?
By how much?
9 strikes.
By 9 strikes?
10 significant strikes.
Interesting.
Because that round was super close to me. And And watching it, I gave it to Fiziev. But then I rewatched it this morning. And when I say 28-28, I think because that was the round that Fiziev hurt Bobby early in the round, right? He had him.
That's what I was going to say. That's
and he
the
landed a
most
big
significant strike Fiziev had in the entire fight was in the second round, right?
Mm-hmm. But then you look at the second half of that round, and it's all Bobby Green. I didn't remember it like that because I had this morning. I was like, okay, yeah, Fiziev won rounds 1. He won round 2. He hurt him, right? And then round 3 was a clear Bobby Green round. But I just pulled the stats up right now, and because when I rewatched it, I was like, damn, that's the hardest round to score in my opinion. Hold on. Coleslaw.
So we just had a comment come through right now. You want to read it off, Will?
Yeah, Coleslaw says, yee, streaming this in church right now with the AirPods.
Shout out Coleslaw, man.
Oh, that's so
He's
funny,
a real one, dude. He's a real one.
Hilarious.
Just as real as Bobby Green, actually, Coleslaw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
They're right up there.
Yeah, but going back to it, this morning I rewatched the fight. For the first half of the round, I think Fiziev, it was very close, super close back and forth, but then Fiziev had that moment. But the second half of the round wasn't even close. Rewatching it, Bobby Green was all over him.
That's when you start seeing the tide turn.
Yeah, it was a massive change in momentum. And now looking at it, 36 strikes to 45, Bobby Green in the second round, right? How about it? What if I told you, Bobby? Now looking at it.
You sound like the fucking narrator from 30 for 30 ESPN. What if I told you? Dude,
yeah.
You got to watch it. They got great stuff.
But now what if I told you Bobby Green also outstruck him in the first round?
Okay. By
Very
how much?
Close round also. 32-25. Not even close.
I mean, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one, right?
That's so tough, man.
Because I do think that the more significant strikes came from Fiziev in the second round and the first round. Now,
I can see that too.
In that third round, though, it was all Bobby Green.
All him. I think Bobby Green fights are one of those fights that watching it live, it's really hard to score correctly because you can't tell sometimes which shots landed big and which shots he rolled with and which shots didn't even hit him, right? If they hit it here or whatever, right?
Oh, he'll let you know, though.
He'll let you know. But he's going to say that. Yeah, he'll say that no matter what. He got a head kick and shook his head. But they're
like, that grazed my ear.
Go back. Yeah. There are fights that when you go back, it's like, oh wait, he outstruck him in every single round? That's crazy. I wouldn't have not expected that looking at the stats. I knew they were close. The first 2 rounds were close, but I didn't know because the live stats showed that Fiziev outstruck him in the first two, and then Bobby outstruck him in the third. The live stats don't matter. The problem is judges are scoring the fight live.
Yep.
That's the problem, right? And I'm not going to say this is a robbery by any means. 30-27 is ridiculous, but and listen, will I go this deep into proving a case for a fighter if they're not one of my favorite fighters? Probably not, right? If this is somebody else other than Bobby Green, I probably wouldn't be going this deep into it. But the other point I want to make is how can anybody say that the first round should be scored the same way as the third round? We have to figure out a new rule set. If 10-8s are too big for discrepancies like that, we need to find out a middle ground somewhere because, dude, the first round is very close. Everybody gave it to Fiziev. I know, right? Everybody gave it to Fiziev. Now I'm looking at it. He got outstruck. You know what I mean? Not only did he get outstruck with the total significant strikes landed, he also threw less strikes.
So let's say that.
So he hit him more and was more accurate.
Let's say that you hit me 4 times with a jab, and I hit you twice. One not that hard. One significantly hurts you. Do we say, well, Will won that round because he hit him 4 times? He struck him 4 times. That's the tough part.
Well, that's the tough part.
The scoring,
right? And how can we weigh how damaging a shot is?
Exactly.
The problem with Bobby Green's style, though, is shots do look bigger because he rolls with them.
Mhm.
It's very similar to John Jones, Dominic Reyes. A lot of people thought John Jones was getting fucked up in that fight. It was a very close fight. The reality is a lot of those big moments that people thought were big moments were just John rolling with shots. John rolls with shots maybe better than everybody I've ever seen in the UFC. When he gets hit, he's taking a lot of the momentum away, and I hate John Jones. I don't want to give him credit for that. I would love to sit here and say Dominic Reyes rocked him every single round, but that's not the case. You know, it's crazy, right? And the stats don't tell the story of the fight ever, and I agree with that too. But it'd be disingenuous to say that, in my opinion, that the first 2 rounds were clear cut, and then take a look at the 3rd round.
And how much on that is the judges and the scoring system, and how much of that is Bobby Green being able to say, hey, my style is probably costing me fights?
Exactly.
Like,
that's when we have to start taking a look at it, right?
You know what I mean? Like, you think his corner would be like, all right, bro, look, you outstruck him the first round, the 2nd round, and clearly the 3rd round.
Yeah.
But for some reason, these judges continue thinking you're getting fucked up in these rounds when really you're rolling with your shots. Hey, how about this next camp? We don't. We just don't.
Maybe, right?
And then we try something different. But dude, I'm sure he's been fighting like that forever. At this point in his career, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard adjustment to change.
I shouldn't say that after we just saw Jose Aldo evolving as a fighter at 34.
It's crazy, man. Looking at these stats, the significant strikes, Bobby Green, 93 head strikes, Fiziev, 47, right? Almost doubled him up. I would have guessed that the body shots would lean to Fiziev, right? He was blasting those body kicks the whole time. 34-26, right? Outstruck him to the body. The leg is the difference, right? Fiziev was blasting his leg kicks the whole time. That was 16-31. But the reality is, total is 143-104. And you could say, oh, yeah, but it's round by round. It's not total strikes. But then you look round by round and you outstruck him every round. It's crazy.
God, it was such a
fun
fight.
I'm not saying it's a robbery. I'm just saying it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
It gives you a lot of things to think about when it comes to scoring. Yeah. Again, I even started thinking about Bobby Green's style and how responsible he is for this. But at the end of the day, the thing we can all agree on is that it was a banger, man. It was so much fun to watch.
So much fun. Yeah, dude. And the respect after the fact, both of them, when they're trying to like announce who won, they're like standing in front of each other talking. They're like, come on, dude, get at the sides. Like, we got to do
No, but you know, they were probably like,
has to start
you got me good with this one shot. And the other one was like, dude, no, but you got me, you know, like they just seemed like they had an absolute blast.
He posted a picture with Fiziev like in like the hotel or something later on in the night too, of them like holding each other and being like smiling and shit.
Oh, that was the post-fight pictures, wasn't it?
What do you mean?
You know how they take pictures after the fight? Whoever the winner is, them, their team.
Oh,
and
with
stuff like
the
that.
weird screen behind them?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I saw another one where they're like right off to the side of the screen and they're both like arm around each other, just big old smile. Yeah, I love the sport, man. I love the sport.
And they both got 50 G's.
50 G's, baby.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll skip a few fights just for the sake of time here. Jessica Penne versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. There's a couple ways you can pronounce it. Did you hear the announcers on this fight though?
No.
It was super awkward because it's like this weird exchange between Dom and DC. One arguing about the
really quick. Can we just talk about how insufferable Dominic Cruz is when someone he trains with is fighting with Angela Hill?
Oh,
every time there's a fighter fighting that he's trained with, it is so incredibly biased and hard to listen to. I hate it. But
he's human. He's human.
Yeah.
I'd probably do the same thing with you. We go to a jiu-jitsu tournament and he'd be getting choked out or something. I'd be like, dude, he does this all the time. He's about to turn it around right now. This is his move. No, but so we have Penne that has this takedown on Kowalkiewicz, and then Dom's like, "Oh, it was a blah 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 takedown," and then DC's like, "No, it was a this kind of takedown," and they're going back and they're going back and forth, and then after that, Dom corrects DC with something because he accidentally calls Penne. Or Kowalkiewicz Penne, and then Dom's like, "You mean Kowalkiewicz?" And then so Dom says something, and DC's like, "You mispronounce it. It's Kowalkiewicz." And dude, they're like going back and forth. And I'm just like, oh, this is so awkward. I could just imagine John Anik. They're just like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah. John Anik, the inability to take charge as a commentator.
He just goes, ha.
Yeah.
So, dude, one thing I noticed too, Carolina Kowalkiewicz came in super emotional. She hadn't fought in a while.
Yeah.
And as she's walking out to the octagon, you could see tears in her eyes.
Fuck, I didn't see the walkouts. Goddamn.
Dude, you could see tears in her eyes as she's walking out. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, holy shit, man, this could be a little overwhelming for somebody.
Mhm.
You know, and for Kowalkiewicz, who hasn't had the best run yet, or recently, I should say. She lost to Jessica Andrade, Michelle Waterson, Alexa Grasso, Yan Jianan. So
all tough fights, goddamn.
She's been on a 4-fight losing streak going into this.
Mhm.
She hadn't fought, in a while. So to come in 4-fight losing streak, super emotional. I was like, oh, this might be too much for her.
Yeah,
This might be too much for her.
she almost got out of it, man. Really good transitions from Penne. Did she switch arms at some point?
And also, Penne, let's not be picking your nose when Buffer's announcing your name, so that when the camera pans over to you, your finger's like right up your nose. You know what I mean? Let's not do that.
Yeah,
Those are worse. No, but dude, beautiful transitions by Penne.
Yeah, and when how did she went to her back from a trip, right? Carolina caught a kick, tripped her, something like that. She fell back, and instantly her back hit the floor. She was like, "I'm like, what?" Right away, like you're just like, relax. She's not just gonna jump in all crazy.
And then she jumped in all crazy.
I was like, no, what are you doing?
Dude, I thought the same thing. I was like, in my head, I'm like, why do fighters still do this? Because it never works.
Yeah.
And then Carolina just kind of goes up and
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, great submission defense from Carolina for a while though. She was compromised for a long time. Slammed her on her head once. Not the best move. The slam. It's something that a lot of people go for. You end up usually just slamming yourself deeper into the armbar. But she went for it. Penne just stuck with it. 30 seconds left, right? It was close. She almost got out of there.
Man, you know what this fight reminded me of? Because Penne at one point was like a title contender.
Did she
fight for the title?
Fought Joanna? Maybe that was the number one contender fight.
And Catalina
fucked her up, right? It was like really bad. It was hard to watch.
And Catalina Kowalkiewicz was also a title contender.
Yeah.
And it just, like, I'm watching this fight.
It was a title bout.
It was, okay. I'm watching this fight and I'm thinking to myself, man, the women's strawweight division has evolved so much from the time that these girls were at the top of the heap there.
Mm-hmm.
So much.
Well, let's be real. She was at the top of the heap because 90% of the roster for that division was from the Ultimate Fighter that she was on. Right?
True.
So, like, that's why she was at the top of the heap. There was just nobody else.
Who was fighting
like
the Beck Rawlings and
Joanna.
You know?
Yeah, Michelle Waterson joined later, but at that time, I think it was her. It was Angela Hill, Rose, Carla Esparza, Beck Rawlings, Felice Herrig. Yeah, I mean, it was just that cast was basically the whole rankings, and then there was Joanna, who was like clearly on another level.
Yeah, dude, no, it's but it was
good times.
It was neat to see, though. It was neat to see and just think about the fact that, dude, this women's strawweight division is just so dirty now.
Dude, it's my favorite division. I've said it numerous times. It's by far my favorite division.
Going from your favorite division to one of your favorite fighters.
Also,
Manel Kopp.
In my next favorite division.
This is all of Will's favorites. We'll change the name of the episode. Will's favorites.
Dude, Cyril Gane, women's flyweights, Manel Cav, or women's strawweights, men's flyweights.
This is hilarious. But yeah, dude, you've been talking Manel Kopp up for a long time as well. Hey, by the way, your boy missing weight, huh? Missing a little bit of weight?
I don't condone that, but I'm okay with moving past it.
Yeah, I'm sure you are in this case.
One of my favorite fighters.
Yeah.
Most of
Dude,
the time, I'm not at all, but fuck it.
I-
I'm human too.
it was somewhat of a chess match for a bit that first round where they're just kind of trying to feel each other out, and
Odie
then
Osborne's legit, man.
yeah, and then it went to this. So Richard Castle just putting a picture up of Osborne on his back and Manel Cobb coming in with just a right hand from hell.
Dude, the flying knee.
Perfect timing.
Beautiful. Dude, and the way like they did, I did watch this with commentary. I'm not gonna miss everything I can about a Manel Cap fight. His footwork is so good. The way he set up that flying knee was beautiful because he was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, reading what Ode was doing. And he was like, okay, that's what he's doing. Perfect. I can land a flying knee if I hop back and then come forward because he's going to come in when I hop back. It was beautiful, man. I wish there was a good picture of it, but there isn't, right? I couldn't find one.
I couldn't find one either. Find one either. But no, you're right. The way he switched stance right into an orthodox position and then just flew in. It was perfect timing.
Yeah,
Perfect
can we
timing.
talk about how Ode Osborne has not left the first round in the UFC? Also, last time he did leave the first round was in 2016.
Damn.
And I'm not talking just a couple fights. I'm talking lost by knee bar in the first round, won by triangle in the first round, won by punches in the first round, triangle choke in the first round, armbar in the first round, got guillotined in the first round, knocked out Jerome Rivera in the first round, and now flying knee in the first round.
So a couple things I'm
Crazy.
putting my money on. Osborne not making it out of the first round, and then Tisha Torrez and Angela Hill going all rounds, going to a decision.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Tendencies.
It's awesome, man. No, but
How
yeah.
about Manel Cap asking for the performance bonus?
Dude, how
Bro, you
about
missed weight?
DC having to take the mic away from him for a second there because he just starts going off on the mic.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
But
You
dude,
can tell that they
imagine
have a
how he
funny
must feel.
relationship.
Yeah, imagine how Manel must feel in this fight. You know, starts the UFC career 0-3. 0-3 or 0-2?
He started 0-2. Could have been 0-3 if he lost this one.
Yeah, correct.
And I mean, his fights were close, man. His two losses, so were very close.
I mean, we all know what I thought about his last fight.
Yep.
He won. But this one, no. It's what we've been wanting from him, right? We've been talking about, after the first fight, all right, let's see the sense of urgency. Sense of urgency was kind of there in the second fight. I thought he won it. All right, man, we know you're skilled, right? He sees a lot of stuff coming. He's dodging a lot of shit. His wrestling's great. He's picking his shots perfectly, but you need to be more active. Be more active. And we got that in this one, you know?
Yeah.
Making adjustments. Flying knee was beautiful.
And he said that he is the best flyweight in the world.
And guess what?
What, you think he is?
I agree.
Well, he's not really
think
a flyweight
skill-wise-
if he's 128, right?
I think skill-wise, he's the best flyweight. Demetrius is still out there, right? But I think Demetrius might start. He's just older now, you know?
You say throw him up against my Mexican fighter, Brandon Moreno, and he tears him up?
Fuck, I want to see that fight so fucking bad,
Right?
dude. I want to see it so bad.
That'd be a banger, man.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. It sucks because he's stuck down here at the rankings because some bullshit decisions. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, he'll be up there, though. This just prolong the process a little bit.
It just sucks, dude.
I know.
I hate it.
You know, but still, even after everything he's gone through, it's not as bad as the night that Anderson Dos Santos had.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So,
Talk about just fucking
before
getting
this fight,
fucked up, man.
we have Miles Johns and Anderson Dos Santos. By the way, Richard Casual make me super proud before we logged on telling me, dude, I watched the fight. And as I started digging into it more, come to find out, he just watched a highlight of a fight. So thanks for nothing, Richard Casual. It got me all excited for no reason. But, dude, Miles Johns looked fantastic.
Yeah, he didn't need to cheat to get the knockout this time.
Dude,
remember his last fight?
No, who did he cheat against?
Who was it? Kevin Natividad. It was when Kevin Natividad was trying to pull away, and he has his fingers in his gloves, holding him close, tugging him back in, and they're like for like 2 solid seconds, they're like trying to solve that little thing, and he just uppercuts him and just straight KOs him. And it's like, bro, and like nothing happened. It was
Gotta
just
defend
like,
yourself at all times, dude.
yeah,
Gotta defend yourself at all times.
Well,
This
he
guy
was,
looks
right?
like Mighty Mouse.
A little bit.
Looks like Demetrius Johnson.
I mean, he's bald and he has the same beard.
And he has cauliflower ear. And
Yeah, and he's the same division.
yeah, see? Dude, looks just like him. It's like his twin.
Yeah.
All right,
Man, his boxing though, man, his hands. God damn.
so quick.
I mean,
so quick.
it was just constantly tagging him.
That is
Constantly.
the leg kick maybe that debilitated Dos Santos the rest of the
In
fight.
the first
Dude,
round.
After that, well, that first round he hit him with 7 leg kicks in the first
Yeah.
round. But that one leg kick where he just buckled,
Mhm.
Dos Santos buckled from the leg kick, and after that he was limping the rest of the night.
Feet were so close together the whole fight too. Just like, I mean, and it was like what you always want to see when someone's leg is compromised from the other fighter is because they're going to switch stances, but then every once in a while they're going to get frustrated with that stance and they'll switch real quick and just eat another leg kick and then switch back. Every time he would switch back, he was just eating another leg kick right away.
So this is the highlight that Richard Cadwell said he watched. Now, the way that he hit him to the body with that left hook, and as he's turning,
Yeah,
Cox's right
Comes up
hook
over.
back over the top, dude. Nasty knockout. You
Perfect.
could see what's his name? The Golden Snitch. Nowitzki.
Nowitzki? Yeah,
You
right
could see him in the background, front row. After the knockout, he's like, "What?" Dude, it was awesome seeing his reaction.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, this is fucking. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Oh man.
All right.
I
so
appreciate the
this is-
criticism.
Hey, who is this? HLB Comer.
Yeah.
Oh, intro needs to get better. We hear you, Comer, for sure.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out.
Props to you, Comer. Thank you for the shout out. No,
Yeah.
but dude, so overall, fun night of fights.
The weasel Ariel.
Then he starts talking shit about Ariel.
Hey man. There's room. There's room for improvement on both sides.
There is. You can never be
But-
perfect.
Yeah, how about moving on to the next one though? I just want to touch on it real quick. Melissa Gatto versus Victoria Leonardo. We almost got away from the crazy injuries in every pay-per-view since crowds.
Mm.
But we didn't with the arm break.
Oh yeah.
UFC
Yeah.
261, the first fight, first pay-per-view with fans. Weidman breaks his leg. 262, Jamal Hill dislocates his elbow. Looked completely broken. It was just dislocated, but it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
263, the boy, Jacare, broken arm. 264, Connor breaks his ankle. Now 265, broken forearm. What's happening?
Hey, how tough is she though?
I know, dude.
How
She's
tough
like,
is
nah.
she? So she sits down in the corner and says, "My right arm's not working." She straight
Yeah.
up says, "My right arm's not working."
And
then
hey,
they're just
maybe
like,
as a corner, you just say, "Hey, we're calling it.
yeah,
Sorry, but we're not going to have you go out there with one limb." I know
Yeah,
you're
it's
tough,
tough.
but
that's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough. And good job by the doctor. Coming in, checking the
terrible
arm.
job by the ref. No, she said she's good. Let's go. Like, what?
Yeah, he's like,
He's
"Come on,
like,
dude,
I
just get out
felt
of the way."
crack.
Dude, you can see the little divot,
Yeah,
the dent in her arm.
yeah.
But again, super tough, man. She wanted to go out there. She wanted to finish the fight.
That's what happens when you make 10K to show, 10K to win, and if they call it right now, I lose half my paycheck.
One blocked like head kick though with that arm, and I mean, come on, arm would have been
No, yeah, I mean, you
mangled,
have to stop the
messed
fight.
up. Yeah.
You have to stop the fight. Corner probably should have stopped the fight. Ref, maybe don't try to dissuade the doctor into continuing a fight. A little weird.
Yep.
If the doctor says it's over, it's over. Don't try to be like, yeah, but she said she's fine. She wants to continue. Like, that's not the doctor doesn't give a fuck about that. Like, why would you try to stop? Like, convince the doctor otherwise? It was just weird.
I mean, everybody has a job to do when they're in there, and the doctor's job is to do exactly what he did.
Yeah, and the ref's job is to facilitate the fight. Yeah,
no, but it's also to protect the fighters. The refs also are there to protect the fighters. You know, who was it? Frank Mir. Whose arm did he break?
Tim Sylvia?
Yes.
Or Nogueira?
No, Sylvia. And this is where Herb Dean stops the fight, and everybody's like, dude,
Nogueira broke Frank Mir's arm.
Yeah, but this is when Sylvia gets his arm broken. Herb Dean stops the fight, and everybody's like, dude, what's going on? What happened? They show the slow motion replay, and you just see it snap, and everybody's like, oh, okay. It was good stopping. Yeah. But the refs are also in there to protect the fighters, man. Because some of these fighters, you let them continue going, and they can give zero fucks about their own health.
Yeah.
You have to be a little crazy to do what they're doing. So,
yeah,
all right.
Definitely.
That's all I got on the fights. Do you have anything else, Will?
No.
Richard Casual.
That's it.
Were you able to get any of the things I sent your way? Oh, rapid fire edition. Here we go. Another rapid fire edition, Will. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, so this is Kiesa, right? He's talking about the fact that he's embarrassed. He came in the best physical shape of his life. Some mental blocks, though. Sounds like there's some mental blocks. Let me ask you, with Kiesa, do you see Kiesa being a champion at 170?
No.
No.
And I love the guy, and I think he's super talented, and he beats a lot of the guys. I just don't see him beating someone like Kamaru.
Yeah.
Stylistically, it's a nightmare.
I agree with you 100%. All right, what's the next one, Richard Casual? Now, Conor McGregor posting, Jose Aldo is a real legend. Surprised by this tweet?
At this point, I think Conor's on so much cocaine that I'm not surprised by anything he tweets. It's just not, I mean, nothing's going to surprise me anymore. The real reason this doesn't surprise me is because if Aldo's a legend, it makes Conor look better. So, of course, a lot of people will compliment to no end the people that they have beaten.
So you think this is more of him trying to build himself up again? It's another selfish act by Conor McGregor is what you're saying? I
think so, yeah.
Okay.
At this point in his life where he's at, I think he everything he does is selfish right now.
All right. Well, Bilal Muhammad also tweeted 135-pound Aldo beats 155 McGregor.
I mean, what even is this fucking tweet? I mean, like, how do you
gotta love Bilal Muhammad.
I know, he says some goofy shit sometimes, man.
He's the best.
Yeah, okay.
Have you seen him when he's there with Dean Thomas?
Yeah.
Dude, he is so fucking funny. And then like the videos that he posts too. God, who was it? He goes into the room with one of his friends. Did you ever see that video?
Which one?
He goes into a hotel room, and I can't remember what fighter it is, but he like convinces the fighter to kiss his friend's hand because he's royalty from Iran or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, it's Paul Felder." And Paul Felder looks around the room like, "Dude, are you serious right now? Like, I have to kiss his hand?" And he's about to do it. They just start laughing their asses off. Dude, you gotta watch that shit. You gotta watch it. All right, what's the next one? Richard Casual. Garbrandt to meet Kai Kara France in December. What do you think of this fight?
Dude, such a good matchup. It's a banger.
It really is.
Yeah, really I don't even know. I'm leaning probably Kara France probably takes this, but fuck, man. It is such a good fight. I don't think this goes to decision.
This is going to be Cody's debut at flyweight. So there's still a lot up in the air, and people have been saying, why is he cutting so much weight? Now, I don't think people understand that Cody, from what he says, only cuts 5 pounds. 5 pounds to make bantamweight. Yeah. So this really isn't that bad when you compare it to what some of the other fighters in the UFC are cutting, or in MMA in general.
Correct. So, I think, man, his power is going to be something special in that division.
Do you think he'll still have his power?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Listen, man, if it's anything that I know he's not with Alpha Male anymore, right?
I think he goes back and forth between
so
Jersey, is it? Jersey and Alpha Male, maybe?
With Mark Henry, right?
Yep.
But if there's anything that Team Alpha Male knows how to do really well, it's weight cuts. You know?
And EPO.
And EPO.
Well, this is according to
steroids. And,
hey, I love Team Alpha Male.
And loose fights. But Yeah, I think.
Hey, man, did you say lose fights? Take it easy, huh?
I don't know what their record is in the past 5 years, but it's not
All I
great.
know is that they went undefeated yesterday with Song Yadong, bro.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, if I think his power stays. The problem is, I think his chin probably gets even worse with a weight cut. That's usually how it goes. It's hard to say because he's probably fighting people who don't quite hit as hard as 135ers also. So it'll be interesting. I think this is what a great first fight though at flyweight.
yeah, and
great
hey,
fight.
how about this? How about Cody Garbrandt beats Kai Kara France, Manel Kape versus Cody Garbrandt to build up Cap's name?
If Garbrandt beats Kai Kara France, he's getting a title shot right away.
Yeah, you're probably right. And you know what? I want to see that too.
Me too. And Moreno wants that too. If you watch his interviews, that's definitely what he wants to have. Like he wants that.
Oh, he's been very open about it.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one, Richie Casual? So word on the streets is Dana White has been talking about Stipe Miocic versus John Jones early 2022. Thoughts?
Fuck it. Let's do it. If that's not a number one contender fight, I don't know what is. Because if Francis is fighting Cyril Gane, let's say Francis wins, it's that sets up the rematch that nobody can argue that Stipe didn't. There's people who argue that Stipe already deserves a rematch, right? Make it a trilogy, or they're 1-1. If he beats John Jones, he definitely deserves a rematch, right? They're 1-1.
For sure, no doubt.
He just beat one of the GOATs. Like he has to fight for the title. And if John Jones wins, he just beat the greatest heavyweight the UFC's ever seen. Let's get him a title shot. He also never lost a light heavyweight belt. Let's get him a title shot. It makes so much sense. And if Cyril Gane's going to fight Francis Ngannou, it makes even more sense.
I also think, or I wonder what Stipe's mindset is, because I know he's been saying he wants another title shot. He wants another title shot. He deserves a title shot. He's been very open about it. So is he willing to fight a John Jones to get another title shot, or does he just sit out and wait
if they say, hey, this is not a title shot, and I don't think they'll headline, right? Because there's no belt. I think it'll probably be a 5-round co-main event. Unless,
hear this out.
Another interim belt.
Yes. You do the unification bout, Francis versus Gane. Co-main is another interim belt, Stipe versus John Jones. And then they fight to see who then tries to unify it afterwards.
Yeah, it would be insane to see a Stipe versus John Jones fight, and it's not a headliner.
Oh, it has to be.
They'll probably do a pay-per-view with them at the top, even without a belt on the line.
It's definitely not a fight night. Anything with John Jones is not going to be a fight night.
No.
Even Stipe at this point.
Stipe, yeah. Maybe they put it on that card. Francis versus Cyril Gane. You have these guys fight in the co-main 5-round co-main event, and they both get pay-per-view points. Both former champions. They have to be the top. They have to be the main event unless they're under the actual heavyweight belt. There's no way anybody else goes above them.
Yep, I agree.
It's crazy that they're fighting and no belt is on the line. It's insane.
It's insane. All right, Rich Cash, do we have anything else, or is that it?
Obviously.
Yes. I think this is the last one. So Chad
funny
Mendes.
thing about this photo, it might look squished, but that's actually just what Chad Mendes looks like.
Oh man, I can't say anything because Chad Mendes is probably taller than I am. So no, but dude, Chad Mendes now bare knuckle quietly is becoming must watch. So am I.
Yeah.
Dude, for a while there, I refused to watch bare knuckle.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like I've subscribed for God's sake to bare knuckle boxing. We did the who was it, Paige Fanzant and Rachel Ostovich fight. Yeah. We did the fight companion for that, and it was fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing Chad Mendes in there.
Like, it's a shit show.
Oh yeah,
but it's fun to watch, and they have fun matchups. They have fights that are actually really good. Dude, Johnny Bedford versus Dat Nguyen. Oh my God. That fight was so fucking good.
Yep.
And it's a shame because I think a lot of people aren't going to see it because it was a bare knuckle fight. But goddamn, was that a good fight. Jason Knight, his fights in bare knuckle have been incredible. They have great fights. As much as I don't want to say it, they have a bunch of shit show fights for sure. But once you get to their main events and their co-mains, they're good.
You go from the great production levels of the UFC, even some Bellator. Every once in a while, you need to sprinkle in a little bare knuckle type of production and say like, "Hey,
some
this
felony
is still
fights."
Yeah, some random fans running into the ring and fighting
basically
rappers.
Okay, right. So we're talking about placing bets. Tisha Torrez, Angela Hill. If they're fighting, bet on them going to decision.
Yeah.
Cap. What was the other one? Was it Manel Cap?
No.
Oh no, it was Ode Osborne not
making it at the first round.
Bare knuckle events, bet on somebody running into the ring and causing.
That's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's gonna happen every single event, at least once.
I love it. I love it. Why? I think that was it for Will's Wisdom Rapid Fire Edition.
Whew.
Hey, Richard Casual. So we're working our way there. You got a highlight of a fight in your repertoire now. Are you considering watching any fights now that the NBA is over? I believe there's a break this next week. No UFC next week, if I remember correctly.
Oh, y'all didn't tell me there's no UFC. Is Song Yadong on the card?
Well, he was on the card that just.
So I don't know. That's my guy.
Oh, that's hilarious! All right. Well, I think that's.
When's the next UFC event? It's August 21st.
Yep, we get a break. Nothing till August 21st. Of course, here at Story of the Fight, we probably won't take any breaks, so we'll see what it is that we cover this upcoming week. But yeah, it's gonna be. Is it Jared Cannonier versus Calvin Gastelum?
I believe so. I mean, this week we got Gregor Mousasi fighting. So
okay. Yeah, but the next UFC card, Jared Cannonier, Calvin Gastelum, Alexander Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. Dude, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's Brian Kelleher's fighting. Only 3 fights on the main card.
Vince from Hell Pichel.
Austin Hubbard. Yeah, Chase Sherman, Parker Porter, William Knight versus Fabio Charant, Clay Guida versus Marco Madsen. That's a fight.
Now, talk about somebody that's been doing this for a long time. His record's 36-20.
Yeah, dude.
36-20, dude.
Yeah, Marco Madsen, a solid 10-0, man. That's Luis Saldana versus Austin Lingo is a great fight too. That's a good card.
Corny Casey, it's going to be on there. Yeah, it's going to be another one of those fun cards, man. So this should be interesting. All right. Do you have anything else, Will?
No. Oh, quick moment of silence. Very quick.
Yes.
Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland was supposed to happen on this card. They bumped it forward. It already happened. And the big one, Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. Nunes got COVID. Shout out all the shitty MMA reporters who put the headline out that Amanda Nunes tests positive, pulls out of fight, because why the fuck would you do that? Say COVID in the title, because I thought she tested positive for steroids and I about shit my pants. So that's the moment of silence.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, don't forget the beginning of the year podcast we did. Your boy's dark horse in that division, Juliana Pena.
Yeah,
this might come down. This might go down as the greatest prediction in the history of MMA.
Maybe Amanda Nunes comes back post COVID and has 0 cardio, and Pena just weathers the storm in the first, and then
maybe she comes in and knocks Juliana Pena into the 3rd row in the first round as well, and I'm completely off. That's a possibility, also.
I would lean towards that probably more than the other one, but anything can happen.
All right. Well, just a friendly reminder, everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Even if our start and the intro is fucking terrible, hopefully you enjoy the rest of the content. You gotta get that sorted out. Yeah. But thank you so much for any comments. Coleslaw, you're the man. Thank you so much for the loyalty. And yeah, thanks for listening to another week of Story of the Fight, everybody.